Welcome back to the Build Beyond with TecTon Podcast. Today, it's just me, guys. We're going to be doing a solo for you, and the subject, what's going on in my mind right now, is haters. We've all been haters. I've hated, you've hated, but you know what? We've all been hated. We tend to find problems with people that are doing more than us. And I have a different take on that. I don't fault haters for hating. If you were in a race trying to win, would you just sit down and let them win, or would you try to get in their face? Would you try to distract them so you could get ahead of them? We all want to be ahead. We all want that crown. Haters are just wanting the crown as well. And I've had a lot of time to think about this. I have a close relative who I thought was really great. We were friends. We're not super close. We've done business back and forth. He kept his word. I kept my word. Paid him everything, and he delivered on time and everything. Come to find out, he's behind the scenes hating on me. And I just pondered on that, like, what's going on? Like, He's out there telling me I'm not a man of my word, all that. And the only thing, it's so out of characteristic, I would think, for him out there to say that. But after a lot of thinking about it and talking to a few people that are more closer to him and getting some insight, he just wants to do what I'm doing. He just wants to be more successful than me. He's trying to distract me, and like you would if you were in a race. Like poker. You're playing poker. What do you do when you're trying to distract someone so you can win them? So you can do away with their read on you and all that. You do things to distract them, which in a sense is hating on them. You don't want them to win. So it's no skin on anybody's teeth. I don't blame haters. They just want to win. They're trying to distract you. They're trying to distract me from winning. That's a great way to look at it and not hate back. You can either hate back, ignore, or understand. This is them trying to distract you from obtaining that crown, being the king of the room. They're just trying to get that before you. Truth of it is you're already ahead, or they wouldn't be hating on you. You're already closer to that crown than they are, or they wouldn't be focused on trying to distract you so you don't get the crown. Give them time to catch up. Happens so much in sports. You watch in the NFL, you watch in any sport that different players off screen, off the sport, they love each other most of the time. They get along, they party. Even Kansas City offensive players will party with 49ers defensive players off screen, but during the game, they're fighting. They go after each other. That's hate. That's hate. That's hate trying to distract the other person, trying to get under their skin. Don't let it get under your skin. You have one focus. You have that crown. Focus on that crown and get to it. Don't let the people that are trying to get there and their hate, don't let them distract you. Don't let them get in your head. That's all they're trying to do. And kudos to them. They just want to win, just like you. But it's a great sign when they're the ones hating on you, because that means you're ahead 99% of the time. And you know, I another situation. I have another relative from the opposite side of my family who I've hated on before. You know, he started a podcast, and I want to shout out Fred Johnson. He's a great guy. He's on social media. He started a podcast, Freddie J Show. I shout out to him. He's a great guy. When he started his podcast about a year and a half ago and started doing stuff on social media, I was part of the ones that were hating on him. I weren't really hating on him, but I made fun of him a lot. Well, the truth of it is the reason why I was doing it is because I I weren't doing something I wanted to do, and he finally was doing something, brave enough to go out and do something that I've always wanted to go do. And so I found problems with it to justify myself why I wasn't doing it. So it wasn't anything he was doing wrong. We're all trying to find our voice. We're all trying to find how to not go when we're trying to talk. We're all trying to do that. We all have to learn how to do that and get those worthless tones out of our social media, out of our talks, out of our podcast. One of the biggest things that was hard for me knowing Fred back then when I was hating on him was how to ignore that part and just listen to his points. It was difficult, and he does need to get over that. It is difficult, but there's no reason to hate on him. How many of us did I ever call him up as a loving brother, as a friend, egging him on? Dude, listen, if you could just focus on getting this and this and this out, dude, your podcast would be the best. I don't know if he's ever had that. We just choose to sit back and hate on him for it instead of helping him out. Listen, people want our feedback. Successful people want feedback. That's what improves us all is feedback. And just behind the scenes hating and spreading word about hate, that's not feedback. That's hating. And I admire old Fred. He's doing really great. He's getting quite a following, and he's focused. One of the things that I wanted to kind of shift and pivot over to after hating, and this involves a little bit of hating. One of the things I want to shift over to is what happens when you start to grow? What happens when you start to put yourself out there, which, by the way, putting yourself out there on social media is the number one most uncomfortable thing I've ever done. And I've been in millions of dollars of debt. I've been in cash debt with friends, which that's a no-no, right? I've been in situations being kicked off a multi-million-dollar job. I've been in court. I've been in all these different things. And putting myself out there on social media is number one most uncomfortable thing I've ever done. When I realized that was actually just flat uncomfortable, and that's why I weren't doing what I was doing, that's why I weren't doing it, is because I was uncomfortable, it clicked. What's my purpose? Having all those experiences I just named out, all the court, being in court, being sued, all that stuff, what was my purpose to go through that? What was my purpose to come in and put my head up and just straighten up and focus? My purpose is to maintain my business, maintain my reputation in the case of the court. Why did I not end up getting kicked off the job? Because my purpose was to maintain that reputation. Do whatever it took. Take personal responsibility. Get my ass out there. When you're being kicked off the job, you as a CEO, me as a CEO did something wrong. It's not the people under me. It's me as a CEO. I did something wrong. I need to get out there. I need to show those people, my customers, that I take personal responsibility of the issues. Don't hate on them. You're the one that didn't fulfill your commitment. If you're being kicked off 90% of the time, you're the one that didn't fulfill your commitment. Get out there and take responsibility. Back to the point. So it's all about purpose. You're struggling to get on social media. You're struggling to put yourself out there. You're struggling to set up that meeting with that great potential client or the current client. What's your purpose? When we're in the fight, imagine yourself boxing. What's your purpose? To hit back. What's your purpose? To get back up and hit back. Well, you want to maintain your stature. You want to maintain your pride. You want to maintain what you've committed to do when you committed to your wife, to your family, that they would be taken care of. Get up, get fighting. That's the purpose, to get back up. So you want to find the purpose on social media. If you don't have a purpose to post, then don't post, because then it's just going to be weird. Then people are going to hate on you. No, you got to find your purpose. And as soon as you knew the purpose, I'll tell you what, when we started this podcast, it was everything I could do to listen to myself, to listen to my recordings of myself. It was everything I could do. I hated it. I listen to every one of our podcasts so I can improve, so I can see what I did and what I'm doing that I can improve. Fun fact, it's when I watch my podcast that I finally realized, I need to fucking lose some weight. So it helps to go back and listen. Go back and watch yourself. Back on track. I could not stand my voice. And then I met one of my great mentors that I've been following for years and years, and Mr. The Real Bradley. And he helped me focus. He says, listen, Nate, do you remember your great-grandpa? Do you remember your grandpa even? How much do you remember? Can you go back and watch him? Can you go back and take lessons from him? I said, no, all I've known is what my parents told me, what my relatives told me. He says, would you like to go back and listen to your great-grandpa? Would you like to go back and listen to those people that made it go in life that you're related to? I says, absolutely. And he says, that's why you need to post. That's why you need to record yourself. You're doing it for your family. You're doing it for people that are looking up to you. They need us. They need you. Your family, your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, they need you to post. They need you to record yourself. So when I heard that, it shifted. It was almost overnight. I could handle my voice. I no longer let that get to me. I no longer let the fear of posting, the uncomfortability of posting get to me. The fear of having haters get to me. When you have a purpose that's greater than the struggles you're dealing with, you're endless. Haters can't get to you. Haters, quite frankly, will actually start loving you, just like I did Fred. I was a hater, and as soon as I knew he was focused, he had a purpose, I started loving him. For the longest time there, I ignored him a little bit to try to not get after him and hate him to face. I regret that. I wished I would have got in front of him. I wished I would have been that brother that says, look, your podcasts are great, Fred, but here's the deal. You're too much ahan through all those. Ha-ha. The ums. Just like that. The ums. Like, get rid of those. You know what? He would have loved me for that. But I chose to hate behind the scenes and not have that relationship. You know, and he's way ahead of me on social media. He's already been doing a podcast for 1.5 years. We all know it takes time to gain traction. And he's ahead of me now. And I chose to hate on him. So don't hate on people unless you can really get to their mind and get ahead of them. Well, he's too far ahead of me. I'll have a tough time getting ahead of him now. But I'm going to give it a shot, and I'm not going to get hate on him anymore. So shifting over a little bit, we're always going to maintain a little bit of the same concept, so you don't get lost. But one of the things that really improved me was going home. When you go home tonight, look at your wife, look at your kids, put your phone down, and just look at them and commit to yourself. This is my family. They need me to be at the top of my game. They need me to be that example. They need me to be that person that is committing to give them the life they want. Give them the life they need, the training they need, The homeschooling. We all know we need to homeschool our kids. Get out of the public schools. It's ridiculous what they're teaching them. So go home tonight and commit to yourself. If you need other people like I do, I need other people to help me hold myself accountable. So I voiced it to my wife. I says, Tammy, I commit to you that you will never suffer and want for your needs. We may need to pull back depending on what the market is. We may need to pull back on our vacations, on our needless spending. But I committed to Tammy, you're never going to need. You're never going to want what you need. You're going to have what you need. And once you make that commitment to those you truly love, which is your children and your wife, and if you don't truly love them, then why the fuck did you have the kids? And why the fuck did you commit to your wife in the first place? That's the first thing. Make sure who you're committing to is the right partner. You're the right partner for them, and they're the right partner for you. Or you'll have a really hard time committing this and doing this exercise that I'm recommending you do. The purpose of raising your children, go hold your little baby in your arms. Go run around in the yard with your little girl while you're holding your little boy in your arms, chasing the little girl around the yard. And just tell yourself, what I'm doing is for them. What I'm doing is for them. The most natural thing that will get your blood moving is to commit for your children's future. It'll be so courageously natural to commit to that. We all try to commit to, I'm going to go to the gym every day. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Listen, your purpose, your most natural and forceful purpose is committing to those that you chose to bring to this earth. And if you didn't choose to do it, then you need to get things right. Do what you choose and choose what you do. Neither one of my children were accident. We intentionally started to try for them. And I was very intentional about that. And I told Tammy at the beginning, I says, look, I don't want a child to be accident. So let's have self-control until we want a child. That don't go to say you can't love someone that's an accident. But when you know that you chose that, when you know you chose to bring them, it's 100% your responsibility to carry on and give them the life they need. There's nothing like not having that mind in the back of your head saying this was an accident, I give up. You can't do that if it was your own choice. So choose. Make sure when you go to have kids, intentionally have kids, you're doing it for them. You're not doing it because you have a problem with accident children. No, there's no child in this world that doesn't need loved. There's no child that has been born out of accident that doesn't need the same love that one that was born out of intent. But I'm here to tell you, if you choose to have that child, you will have a bigger bond, a bigger purpose that you hold yourself accountable. I tell children are hard, man. We lived a free life. We took almost twice a month. We were doing long weekends, even if it was just a drive down to California Beach and stay a night or two, get a massage, run over to. We just did long weekends when we had children. We couldn't do that anymore. It changes your life. It changes everything about what you do, and so it's tough. It's tough to learn that, but hey. What I'm getting at there is you're going to have times you want to throw your arms in the air. And if you know that you chose to do that, you chose to have those children, you have no excuse to throw your arms in the air, and you just keep fighting. So choose what you do and do what you choose. It adds a great sense of self-responsibility, self-accountability. Anytime you get frustrated, just tell yourself, I chose to have this child. That purpose, that natural purpose of wanting that child to grow up after your own likeness, or just have drive. I get asked all the time, because I have big dreams for my children. I get asked all the time, what you going to do when they don't do what you think they should do? I'm just like, only thing I want them to do is be purposeful. Have purpose. My little girl loves golf. She's only 3 years old, and she's always swinging things like it's a golf club and hitting things like it's a golf ball. She'll watch golf TV with me. It's kind of soothing for her. She loves that, and she doesn't usually sit around and watch things, but she'll watch golf. And so my big idea is she'd be a professional golfer. But at the end of the day, as long as they're wanting purpose, as long as they have the energy to get off the phones, get off everything, and go make a purpose in life, that's all I want. I don't care what it is. I'm going to lead and guide them, make sure that what they do can't injure them. I'm going to try to show them example, work ethic. Something my parents did wonderful at is gave me work ethic. And I want to share that same thing with family. Where did I get lost on family? Family is my purpose. Family, providing my family with the life they want, providing my family with the training, the schooling that they want, the homeschooling, being able to bring in a private tutor. So worth it. You control what goes in. You control what they're getting taught. They're not getting taught all the bullshit that's in the public schools these days. And it's bullshit. I've never been to a public school, and I know how much bullshit it is. So when your family is your purpose, the haters don't matter. The uncomfortable situations you find yourself don't matter. Because you're there, you're doing it for one purpose. To give a great life for your children and your wife who you committed to. So with that, guys, I just wanted to pop on here. My other partners couldn't make it today, so I had to jump on here and do a single podcast, and I appreciate you for you listening. And go ahead and share this podcast, comment it, send feedback, DM us all. Tell me how I did. Tell me where I need if I need to get rid of the ums and the ahas and all that stuff. So go ahead and give me feedback. Subscribe to the channel. Peace.